Wilds of Eldraine has one more surprise to share with us before release date, and that is the numbers. Now, in today's video, we'll discuss how the local LGS level is dealing with pre-orders and this lower volume inventory they're keeping after Commander Masters, as well as the singles from Wilds of Eldraine, which is something players can expect to see going forward. Sometimes life gives you lemons, so make a really good lemonade. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today, and we've got quite a bit to discuss. Number one, picture an LGS that is happy, but players who are not happy, and this is what's gone down and happened. This store knew they were going to have cash flow issues after Commander Masters. They kind of knew that it was going to be an expensive product. They were worried. So they just ordered less of Wilds of Eldraine, knowing that this was a standard set and they would be able to pick it up later. Now, they put out calls and order calls to all their regular customers saying, do you want to pre-order any of this? Of course, it was months and months ago. Nobody knew what the spoilers were. Everyone turned them down. They are being pickier people. They're being a little more fussy, a little more selective. They wanted to see spoilers, and rightfully so. And then spoiler season came along. And people went back to the store and tried to order product only to have it sold out. Wilds of Eldraine sold out before it comes to the store. And the store can't get any more until, after allocation stuff, like until a few weeks goes by. So they're actually sold out. Now, the store was keeping some for themselves. They sold a few boxes to players. A couple of the collector booster boxes are available. And then those all went and there was nothing left. So now you're left with a store that's sold out of their draft, sold out of set, sold out of collector boxes. They didn't get any fat packs, and the players have nothing left to buy because it's completely sold out. The store should be happy, but instead they've got an angry customer base that can't get in there. All they have left was the pre-release night, and because of that, which by the way was already pretty close to sold out, players who wanted to open extra packs just bought the pre-release kits. Even if they weren't going to show up, they're like, I need a couple of those, can I get some? And now you've got the scenario where the pre-release sold out. This all sounds fantastic. You're like, wow, that store's really happy. They sold out of everything. But they're not happy. Because they still have unhappy players who won't be able to get the product, weren't aware that it was this tight of a situation for this certain LGS. So I put that out to other stores I deal with to say, is this happening where you guys are? Or is this kind of a one-off? Well, as of this moment, it's a one-off. It's only that one store. Because most stores did not cut their orders in time from Commander Masters to Wilds of Eldraine. They just kind of ordered regularly, with now the plans being to cut back. So because it was a standard set, most of the stores I deal with have ordered their regular numbers kind of thing because it doesn't cost as much to get this product into their store. It doesn't have the premium price of Commander Masters. And they figured a standard set, people will come around, they'll open packs here and there, it'll sell, so they had no problem kind of hoisting that kind of order on their backs and saying, this should be okay. And of course, Wilds of Eldraine has a good name because it's following on the tailcoats of Throne of Eldraine. Now, going forward though, the idea of that first scenario I gave you happening, I know it's only one store, but that scenario happening and the fact it could happen going forward, where stores are ordering less because players don't pre-order, they're much more selective and know what they want. They're cherry picking the best stuff they want and they're looking for the singles. So those players are depending on mass box openings from either TCG Player, Card Market. Maybe their local LGS gets lucky and gets one of these cards in. Maybe they're going to go on eBay, Card Kingdom, whatever happens to be their store. I don't care if it's 401, Face-to-Face, Tabletop Giant, wherever it's going to be, you're going to go shopping there and you're going to hopefully find those singles. But if nobody's opening the boxes, if the stores don't open a lot of boxes and players don't buy a lot of these cards, this brings us to the second scenario. Because all these other stores have told me the boxes are selling, but they're selling much slower than we saw for like Dominaria United, even March of the Machine. I'm not going to count the epilogue boosters in this one, but these particular product lines still sold pretty good because of the storyline. Wilds of Eldraine has a great storyline, but it's following on the negativity of Commander Masters, so it's selling a lot slower. We got wallet fatigue kicking in, so we're near the end of the year with just the Lost Caverns of Ixalan to go through after this, and of course Doctor Who, and because of that, some players just like, they didn't think much of it. So they're buying less and they're planning on hitting up singles. But if the boxes don't sell and the same singles are desired by a larger group of players, you are left with the situation of supply and demand, the classic battle. And when there's not enough supply, but the demand is really great, the price is going to rise to meet it. Which means if you're hoping to get a certain card, I hope you get it. Because if people aren't cracking boxes, if the stores and the players don't open the boxes, we are going to be left with this scenario. And that first store scenario could become a little more commonplace, a little more regular in some of the smaller towns out there that don't have massive, huge Magic the Gathering communities. A place like Toronto isn't going to have those issues, although if these smaller communities start buying from central locations like New York or wherever in the States, down in Florida, and you get stuff up here in Canada from Toronto or Quebec, and some of these bigger stores have to start shipping these cards out across the country to get to those locations, even they could have a strain on their supply, causing the demand, right? Sorry, the demand causing the supply to be strained, causing the prices to increase. It'll be a very fascinating thing. Not now. This isn't going to happen this particular set. It might be a little bit, though. You might notice cards not dipping as much because there just isn't as many boxes being opened. So be curious to see how the retailers handle that, because usually they're intending on cards being turned in. So we'll see if the prices hold a lot longer instead of being held for that first 20, 30 days. Maybe they'll hold all the way to the 60, 90 days. I can't predict that. I don't have no crystal ball I'm rubbing. But these are all scenarios players need to be aware of, because that financial side of Magic is still there. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. It still exists. It's supply and demand. And it's going to work itself out whether you like it or not. And the scenario I gave you there with what happened to that store could happen again. And it could happen closer to home. It could happen in mid-sized places, depending on how Wizards of the Coast continues to price their products. I'm kind of fascinated by the topic of this, because this reminds me of back in the day where I would line up at a store, like 10, 12 years ago, and you hope to get a box before they sold out. Even at 401 games, I used to have to line up. I think it was when Theros came out, and I hoped to get a box. That was 2013. That's 10 years ago. You were hoping to get a box. And now, we haven't worried about this in forever. But FOMO and short ordering with the intention of reordering later on could be a whole different beast. And then the possibility of tighter production runs from Wizards. I'll be curious to see how this plays out with the players, to see how the market reacts to this in the longer term. Not now, but in the next 90, 120 days, all the way through to Ixalan, where I know orders have been cut. It's interesting. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to know what's happening in your local area, especially if you're in a smaller town. Let me know how your LGS is handling the sales volumes, because I know the individual boxes are selling a lot less, and I want to know what the singles market is doing, because here and there I'm already seeing sold out singles even before the stuff touches the store shelves. So let me know what's going on. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me on the channel today. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys here each and every day. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for another video. Have a great day, and don't forget, bring a friend to Magic. And of course, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons I have supporting my channel each and every day. Because of these amazing patrons, daily content is made available for everyone to enjoy. So thanks again to my amazing supporters here on the channel. Couldn't do it without you. I'll see you all tomorrow. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You guys made it to the end. We're going to go on for a second here, so I hope you guys can stick around. Thanks for making it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe ending. Shop smart, shop S-smart always, and that's what we're going to talk about, actually, shopping smart. Now, with these new product lines, there could be a huge turnaround in the years to come. Who knows? The market hasn't established itself yet. We've only heard rumors and hearsay, and I've seen scenarios like this happening at stores where they tell me what's going on. You're kind of like, well, that's kind of crazy. It's a good little thing, but it's kind of weird to see if that would happen widespread, which I don't think it will right now. But what is happening is that downward pressure because of the negativity, right? You have this negativity building where players get all antsy and raise your pitchforks and torches and go hunt down Frankenstein's monster. Now, when you have that stuff go, and that downward pressure hits reserveless cards, particularly reserveless cards. Yes, some cards are hardening up, and the sales are higher than they've been in a long time, but the prices have not recovered, and that downward pressure is definitely there. But it doesn't just affect reserveless cards. It also hits things like Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Four Horsemen sets like Legends, Antiquities of the Dark. Some of these commons, even from Arabian Nights, which used to be 10 or 12 bucks for a common, are now $1.50 again. Now, I've been following this for a while, and there are people out there buying a lot of these cards. They're buying Unlimited. They're buying beta cards. They're buying the Dark, Legends, Antiquities. They're picking them up all the time. And sometimes in quantities. One of the stores I deal with, a larger store, no names are needed, told me that somebody went in, like, an order came in, that basically purchased $1,000 of Unlimited and beta cards. Commons, uncommons. Was there any rare? I didn't see the list all the way. Sorry, I didn't see if there was rares. But either way, they bought a ton of these cards. There was hundreds of cards on this list. I'm thinking, for $1,000, look how many cards they got. They're Unlimited. They're alpha. They're beta. Like, there was a whole slew of these cards. Now, I admit some are moderately played, heavily played, but there was just so many. You're going, $1,000 barely gets you a case of new product. But it can get you all these old school cards, and that's obviously what some players are doing. So shop smart out there. If there's old cards you have always wanted to get, take a look and see what's available. Crazy stuff out there when you look around. I'm loving it. I think it's great. I think it's amazing to see we have these options right now, because we haven't always had them. The last couple of years have been really crazy with the high sales and the high prices, that now it's kind of like, wow, this is like bargain day. This is like my own personal Amazon dump day, but it's for like old cards. Crazy, man. And I don't care. If I love them, I love them. I'm still going to buy them. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me ramble and jamble on. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.